I'm happy with that because it means I am doing God's work. Because if he says there's got to be someone like me, then there's got to be someone like me. But what if some crazy old bugger like myself was actually Christ and this was the knowledge everybody needed to learn? That'd be mad, wouldn't it?
Let's talk about facts.
If you want to have intellectual discussions.
Spiritually oriented, very beautiful far.
Who you are beyond the personality.
I'm a human being, same as you. Be who you are.
But to answer your question,
What is really going on? And let's get into this.
And what is happening, W.I.R.G.O Warriors? Welcome to the wonderful world of W.I.R.G.O, the place where we get asked what is really going on. And again, now we're out in Cardiff, Queen Street, asking questions, basically asking people with this sign, can they give us a definition of what good and evil is, and if it's real. If they can prove it's real, we'll give them £100 cash. We don't think it's a fair question. We think it's very biased, and that it can't be proven because it's not real. But individuals think they can prove it. So there's another individual wanted to give us his opinion on what good and evil was. Really lovely chap. Hope you enjoy it. Guys, the audio and everything is not great in the city centre, and we advise not to walk around with expensive bits of equipment at the moment until we understand the area and things. So we're left with just our GoPros secured to boards so nobody can take them, and it is well advised for us to do that. So appreciate that we can't get the best sound and the best footage, but just try to enjoy what you can of the conversation because it is well worth the listen. Thank you very much, guys. Harmony.
So what it is I have something called Asperger's syndrome. My name is Carl, okay? Now, if I start with this, because I don't normally start with this, I'm going to try this time out. Carl is the name of my imaginary friend that the entire world fell in love with when I was about 8 years old. And so I now pretend to be Carl, and Carl can only live in a story. So the story is formed from the knowledge of good and evil. That means we can build a story and then fall into that story. To me, this is a trick question. You can't win this because I don't think you can do it. But I will tell you, my number one rule is I could always be wrong. So I will tell everybody the boundaries of what I'm saying. If you can give me a working definition that proves it's real, then that exists. I can accept that it can exist in your imagination, and I can tell you why it exists and reason for it. But if you can show that it's real and needed and that people are evil and not just some fictional fairy tale, I'll give you £100 because I want to learn that, and I've never learned it till now. Like I said, I think it's an impossible task, and we could just have a lovely talk about it if you're not interested in money, but what I tell people is good and evil are the basis of a story created for you to fall into, an imaginary self, and since then you've gone around thinking that illness is evil, ill education is evil, and these things are evil, therefore putting a friction between you and the real problem. And really, I believe you live in a world of mathematical cause and effect, and everything is positive, negative, and neutral. And the reason they're not synonyms of each other is because in between good and evil there's a word, versus, that you've lived through cartoons and everything your entire life. It means your neutral stance is war, which makes sense to why the world is going the way it is. I love math.
Negative and positive, right? So
yes.
Negative and positive is basically your version of evil and good, right?
I would say it's different because nobody's told me what is the neutral between good and evil.
I don't think neutral is just non-biased, right? So non-biased is your actions that cause good and evil. Whatever you choose to do is good and evil. Like, you know, for instance. What's the premise of the word evil you're using? How do I recognise what is evil? I think it's caring for the other person. So by not caring for your, like say for instance, your Carl imaginary friend, right?
Yeah.
If I was then in the storyline of Carl, if I were to punch Carl in the face, for instance, as hypothetical as that could be.
No, that's okay.
That is an act of evil because I'm no longer taking Carl's consideration of emotions into that equation of life. So I'm now causing a negative effect on that guy's Carl's storyline.
Yes.
That he will now think it's right so you punch someone else in the face. And that's the prolonged effect of evil.
No, I love it. It's a normal answer I would expect, right? What if I said, I believe that's a storyline version of what I see as real. So mathematically, I would say absolutely true. But if I put storyline glasses on of what I see as the narrative, the world of good and evil, and I said to you, okay, and what if I just told you the exact same story in a different way? I said to you that, Ryan, you punched me in the face because you have a form of ignorance in you that I see as an illness of not outbalanced by narcissism. That means you're lacking something called empathy, that you don't think before you do that act. And therefore, I would say that's an illness because you lack a function I have because I wouldn't do that. So if you're lacking a function I don't have, and I see as evil, I'm going to see in a fictional form and step away from it, thinking I have no control over it, I don't know what it is, there's no source background from it. But if I see it as the cause and effect of your traumas and everything, and I'm able to talk to you in a way of not seeing it as evil, I'm more likely to bridge the gap between us because now the trinity I'm looking at is positive, negative, and neutral health rather than just good and evil. I see them as narcissistic terms that we use and have got it from our forefathers to say, this thing is evil, you should divide yourself from it and see yourself as better than.
That's your opinion.
Yes.
For instance, like, being,
So this word here, to just understand, real is objective, exist is subjective. So you can convince me it's subjective and exists in all of us differently, and we use it in a weird form.
As long as it was positive rather than negative.
But if I said to you, in the real world, what you're referring to is positive and negative, but where's the neutral?
I think. So I'm a bit of a Christian, right? So
Yeah, no, it's okay.
God made evil so you can realize something good. You can't have good. You can't have good without evil in a sense, because then you would never know what's good. If there was no evil, there'd only have to be neutral.
So who made the evil?
God created everything.
So if God created evil, why do you love of it as much as good?
Well, God gives you the choices. You should choose.
Yes, I believe this is the basis of free will.
Yeah, basically.
But you also have the choice to see it as good and evil, or positive, negative, and neutral, that which is real in everything else.
So as Carl as the character, what was Carl? Neutral, negative, positive?
You got it, sorry?
Was Carl negative, positive, neutral?
Carl
Yeah,
is all free.
It's all free.
As is Jesus, as is Christ, I am all free.
Yeah.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is all free, as I'm trying to explain to you. The Holy Spirit would be the Trinity, the fact that can see everything mathematically. That which is the Father is going to see this, isn't it? But if I see this without the Trinity, I'm going to think this is real, and that's going to be the head of my household, which is very feminine in me. I'm a very feminine person. I had a lot of abuse as a child. So I grew up feminine, but I realized it was only giving me a cardinal mind. That which is the serpent in me and that which is the feminine led me into believing that this was real. Now, if I said to you, you're a Christian, and the God's only rule ever spoken to mankind was simply this: do not consume the knowledge of good and evil, which is what I'm telling you how to do. What's the difference between what God is saying and what I'm saying here?
Well, God works in every way, right? So God's
Yes.
in this situation to educate the people. Right?
Well, like I said, I don't tell people I am Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I say, to me, Jesus means source of, Christ means Trinity knowledge, and Nazareth means a new branch of knowledge, just like the tree of knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actively seek this role, not tell you I am, but say that I want you to see me as Jesus Christ of Nazareth, because out of everybody in the world, I'm the only one willing to stand up and say, this is not real, and if I can prove these are not real, then I will eradicate it, right? I will prove, I haven't proved it today.
You eradicate the one, you eradicate the other, right? You can't just eradicate evil, so then they'll be good.
But if it takes... Okay, so I'll put it in another format. I see this because I'm mathematics.
Right? So
If you have the opportunity to convince someone not to kill people for 3 days of the week, even though they even though they save people 4 days of the week, would you say, if he said, if I stop killing, I must stop saving, would you say that was a fair trade?
Okay, that's fair.
I must stop killing, but to stop killing, I must also stop saving, and leave everybody to a neutral stance of how God wants it, not how we decide it. I will take all my control.
It's a very good extreme example.
I try to get them. I'm not there yet. The Christ in me is only a child, and I'm learning. And this is why I'm doing this, because I don't think I'm going to be able to save anybody in my present stance.
If you want to get rid of evil, I'm all for that. I'm all for being good and spreading positivity.
If I said to you, the way to get rid of evil is to stop believing it exists, but at the same time, you have to stop believing good exists, and there is a positive, negative, and neutral, but they're only two halves of one.
So if I were to help a random citizen, right?
Yes.
Out of the goodness, out of the neutralness of my heart.
If I said, you see, you've been putting a positive behavior in, yeah?
Yeah. Positive behavior.
Yeah.
Is that not classed as good then, or is that just positive?
It would be seen as good if you saw it as good, but if you seen it as positive, you'd understand that to balance it out, there's going to be a negative somewhere.
Yeah.
But if you take that negative out on yourself, which we call sacrifice, in other words, go beast yourself up a hill, put that negative in, you've paid the balance and paid it forward, and therefore prayers have been answered.
Yeah.
What it is, God can only give you a fair shot at the world. It cannot, if it doesn't allow you to have these two options, you're not free. You need to be able the choice of this. So what I'm saying is, the only thing that's taken from you, which is supposedly a riddle, the devil's greatest trick. You know this exists, so what don't you know exists? Christ tried to tell us once, he said, love, you have to put in between and know that you have no enemies. Love all those you see as evil. That's why he went to the lepers. That's why he went to the taverns. And understand that they've just been shown a different way to you. And if you are stuck in that way, and you cannot lower yourself to pick these people up, then you will always have, that word by there will always mean war to you. Versus. And that's why you have wars today. There's too much of the rap happening today and too much stuff in my head that nobody's talking about at the moment. So I have a delusion. I don't say anything else because I don't want to offend. I have a delusion that says I'm Christ. I could just be one of those fake prophets who's supposed to come in. I'm happy with that because it means I am doing God's work. Because if he says there's got to be someone like me, then there's got to be someone like me. But what if some crazy old bugger like myself was actually Christ and this was the knowledge everybody needed to learn? That'd be mad, wouldn't it?
Hey, I mean, life is full of opportunities.
The reason why people like Moses made certain rules was to try and abide by this first rule. And one of them was to take no idols. And to me, idolism is just believing that someone can't be wrong. And don't walk away thinking I can't be wrong. Just think I have an idea that you might want to think about.
No, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Rob. I do appreciate it.
Pass your message on. The street's just begun.
Oh yeah, no, we're here all day. We want to show our son the sights and everything, and like normally when a rugby's on, people are really lovely. So I'm hoping for a lovely day, and nobody's really thing. And like, I have a shield, which is the thing in your. Everybody's got a good head on their shoulder, but my son's really young, and obviously. Recently, I had a mental break.
We think pretty much the same on those things.
So, without making it sound too much like the prophecy, I had a mental break a few years back, and Carl, my imaginary friend, couldn't do the world anymore. So I sacrificed him and started again. But for the first few years, I was very distraught. I didn't understand. It's like I'm going for my terrible twos again. People say it was an awakening or something, but like now I speak to the same people. They say, oh, I don't know what's happening because they can't seem to cross this line. They can go all the way up to this line, but they can't seem to cross it. Because I feel like it takes away their core of who they are, of understanding of right and wrong. Because
you've got to be broken to your core to realise who you are.
That's what happened to us. But I was a 10-month baby as in birth because of trauma. My dad used to beat my mum up and things, and then I had like a wicked stepfather to a certain extent. But I thought that was evil for a long time until I learned that what his upbringing was and the illnesses in him. And then I just saw that he was just ill. And I saw him as evil for all them times I could have a better loving relationship with him. You find that if you replace this word with illness, you'll love people much more.
Yeah, be more accepting.
You'll be more accepting. This person's just ill. You have to also have this within you to say that's also because that's what protects you. We create this into Satan, and we create this into Lucifer, angel of light and darkness within us, an angle of light and darkness of us. And because we create that within us, we can create that so powerful that we despise it. And some people can do the same on the other side as well. But what I say is, if you make them both as strong as each other, both to protect you and meet in the middle, you'll find Christ. If you see the mountain as the opposite angles coming down from Ra, or Zeus as we may call it, the sun, the zero, the everything and nothing, the alpha and omega, there's only one number, remember? That's zero. Everything else has a dualistic component. But if you bring all them together and you see equal always, like without a positive there can't be a negative, and you find it, you'll always find harmony in yourself. You'll find that zero. As above, so below. You bring that mountain together, it will no longer be a mountain and it'll move out your way. All you'll see is the one line, the path. Was that?
Yeah,
no.
Talk to that guy and just try to see if we can talk that guy.
I don't want to oppose anyone today. I just want people to come to me like this gentleman is.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Have a lovely day, Bill. Have a nice day.
To the love, support and sharing of the community that has followed us here on YouTube, we have been able to build a village for special needs children in crisis out in Tanzania. Our family in Tanzania is now made up of nearly 200 children. Most of these children have disabilities, and most of these children are among the most marginalised human beings in our human story. To all who have partnered with what we do, thank you for your love and support. We simply can't do what we do without you. If you visit www.sharetanzania.com/partnership, you will see all of the details there.